Calling our City Commission meeting to order at 5:38 p.m. At this time, we'll have the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance by our Lynn Haven Police Department Chaplain, Brother Frank Stevens.
Remain standing after the invocation for Pledge of Allegiance. Father, we thank you for these city fathers and mothers that come together. They have given of their time, they've given of their talent. Bless them in their efforts. Bless them with strength for the day. We thank them for the countless hours that they spend on city business. Bless their families. We thank you for the first responders that protect this city. Bless them and keep them safe. For the city employees who faithfully come daily and serve the citizens of this wonderful city where you have placed us. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time we'll have public commentary. Please remember to give your name and address for the record.
Okay. Yeah. I'd like to address...
Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
What is that?
Your name and address for the record, please.
No, thank you.
No, we need your name and address for our official minutes, please.
Yeah, no thanks.
We still need your name for our official record, sir.
Are you denying me the ability to do public comment?
I'm not. I'm asking your name so we can justify our records for minutes.
Yeah, you can put whatever you want down. That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I want to address... First, I want to thank you guys for IRA. You guys have IRA running today, visual interpretation. So thanks for... I think Jennifer Hodges was getting that going, so that's great. And then a big thanks to... There's 2 officers with the Lynn Haven PD that also made that accommodation, like on the spot, which I believe is the first, like in U.S. history, that a law enforcement officer would stop what they were doing and make an accommodation for a visual interpreter. IRA actually reached out to us and told us the same thing, and they're like the #1 provider of visual interpretation services across the country. So you guys made history last week, so I applaud you guys for that, and thank you for providing the visual interpretation services for this meeting. I want to address like the public records policy that you guys have. Like last time I spoke, currently the policy is like a flat fee of $23, and again that's against 119, which is the Public Records Act. It's not supposed to be a for-profit function, and it's supposed to be like case-by-case assess whether or not there's going to be a fee. And currently we're getting fees automatic. I believe it's actually on your guys' form that it's an automatic $23. So that's something that needs to be addressed. The public are already paying for records. We don't need to pay for it twice. And then the last thing I have is with the police chief taking my protest sign, I think on Tuesday, and I think Jesse Nelson, I think you returned it to me, so thank you for that, but it should have never been taken. So that needs to be addressed. I don't know if it has been addressed with Chief Ramey getting corrective measures or whatever, but that doesn't need to happen again. And I think some more training with how the officers use their body cameras. I think one of the sergeants, we're getting records back saying that he didn't activate his camera on the 7th of March for a call. So I'm trying to follow up with that with the police department for better training. But again, applaud you guys for providing IRA for this meeting and for those 2 officers that did it on the street last week. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Additional public commentary? If not, we'll move on to the mayor's report. We're going to have our proclamation for Arbor Day 2023. And it reads, whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are a renewable source, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Jesse Nelson, and the City Commission, by the virtue of the authority vested in us by the laws of Lynn Haven and Bay County and Florida, do hereby proclaim April 28, 2023 as Arbor Day in the city of Lynn Haven, Florida. And we urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. In witness whereof, I hereby set my hand and cause the official seal of the city of Lynn Haven, Florida, to be affixed this 25th day of April 2023. And congratulations again to our city, and thank you to our city manager and staff for making sure that we remain in Arbor City. I received our official letter of notification last week for that recognition. So Lynn Haven remains an Arbor City, a tree city, and so thank you all for making sure that we do that. And for the citizens, thank you for coming to get the trees and planting those as well. Proclamation. Whereas motorcycle riding is a popular form of recreation and transportation for thousands of people across the nation, and with the state of Florida's mild climate and scenic roadways make motorcycle riding an enjoyable experience throughout the year. And whereas growing population, seasonal residents, and travelers use Florida roadways make motorcycle safety an important issue for all drivers, and the safe operation of a motorcycle requires the use of special skills developed through a combination of training and experience, the use of good judgment, and a thorough knowledge of traffic laws and licensing requirements. And whereas it is incumbent upon all vehicle drivers to respect the safety of motorcyclists and to share the roadway, whether on a motorcycle or in a vehicle. Eliminating distractions is critical to reducing motorcycle crashes and fatalities. And whereas motorcycle organizations, clubs, dealerships, groups, and highway safety officials in our county are encouraged to join the Florida Rider Motorcycle Safety Program, ABATE of Florida Incorporated, in all motorcyclists in actively promoting safe operation, increasing rider training, improved licensing agreements, and motorist awareness. And whereas the Motorcycle Safety Foundation has designated the month of May as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month, as recognized by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Governor of the state of Florida, to encourage other motor vehicle operators to be cautious and observe these smaller vehicles on Bay County streets and highways. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Jesse Nelson, and the City Commission, by virtue of the authority invested in us by the laws of Lynn Haven, Bay County, Florida, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month in the city of Lynn Haven, Florida, and we urge all citizens to be cautious and observe these smaller vehicles on Bay County streets and highways. In witness whereof, I have hereby set my hand and caused the official seal of the city of Lynn Haven to be affixed on this 25th day of April 2023, and we have a group here that will be here to receive this proclamation, so please come at this time. And I do want to say thank you all for reaching out to us and bringing this to our attention. We know that we've had various accidents, fatalities in our city. And so thank you all for reaching out and bringing this to our attention. There's still some things that I need to follow up with our chief on in regards to safety and fatalities in this area. But I think this is a good first step in just bringing awareness to our community that we need to watch out for the two-wheelers too. So thank you all for being here today. Real briefly, I'll keep my comments brief and have a more extensive report in our next commission meeting in May. But for now, we'd just like to say I've really enjoyed the spring concert series. It's been really great to get out and to see all of the families that come out, all of the good food that is there, just all of the good fun, kids playing on the playground, dogs walking through. I mean, it's been a real festive celebration, and it's free. I mean, that's the part I think I like the most, is that it's free and it's something for our community. So it's been really great to see our community come out. And each night we've had great artists. You know, they've given us a diversity of music and culture. And so that's been really nice to see just everybody enjoy that. And as Commissioner Perno mentioned earlier about families, just to see so many families that are out, younger families, older families. And I think some people are turning it into a date night, right? You know, like, I don't know how the ladies like it when the guy says this is where we're going for our date, but they've turned it into a little date night, and you can just sort of see that each Friday night is their date night. So I think we should be, you know, proud of our city and the activities that we're doing, that our community is coming out and enjoying those as well. And so again, just want to thank our staff. Thank you, City Manager, for your leadership. Thank you to all of our staff and the hard work that you all provide, especially keeping our park so beautiful. Every time I go to Porter Park, it's always clean and pristine. And so it's really wonderful for all the work that you all do in our city to keep us a safe and clean city. So thank you all so much for that. As again, I'll make an extended report at the next commission meeting, but that's my report for today. Commissioner Aldridge.
Thank you, Mayor. In the words of Yogi Berra, it's like deja vu all over again today. You know, I'm on borrowed time here, but I'm enjoying it, you know. I'm glad to be able to serve with the new crew, so to speak, to start out before the new guy takes my seat. And I think the only other thing I have before you go on to Commissioner Perno is I want to thank our city staff, our first responders, our police, and fire department. Thank you.
Killing me.
All right. Is that your report, Commissioner Perno?
Yeah, well, it's part of it. He likes to take.
Do you have anything else to add to his report?
Yeah. I'm not wishing for him to be here for 2 more meetings. Well, I kind of wished it on the last meeting, so. But I don't have anything to report other than a sincere thank you to everyone again. So.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Ward?
Yes, I have a couple things. This past Friday, I had the pleasure of going over the fire station during their turnover. They do it at 6:45 in the morning, and so I went out, bought a bunch of donuts, and brought them in, and something I've been wanting to do for a while, and kind of reminded me of the military. They go over the status of all their equipment and what needs to be fixed and that. So we kind of did the same thing when I worked on aircraft, and they were very welcoming, and got to talk to everyone there, and they were very receptive. Got a lot of great feedback. Got the story of how the kitchen got built in there, a lot of do-it-yourself type stuff. They did a lot of great work in there. So it was a good time. I had my time with the commissioner this past Saturday. I had over Tacos Way, and a couple ladies came out that came to my previous time with the commissioner, and I was glad to see them come out. I had a total of 4 people, and it was really positive. They had a lot of questions, and pretty much had almost all their questions answered except one, which I contacted the city manager of and contacted them back and let them know. So that was a good time. And then this past Saturday, I also went to the Pocket Park off of 17th Street where they did a cleanup. Ben Yankee headed that up, and we had, I think, about 10, 15 people, and they all brought their wheelbarrows and shovels, rakes, and clippers and that, and we just cleaned up the area to get it prepared before they start building there. So that was a good time, and thank everyone for coming out, and that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Ward. Commissioner Vandergrift.
I'm glad the election's over. We spent the week picking up signs and cleaning up so our citizens wouldn't be blaring at signs everywhere they go. I want to encourage, there's still going to be another election for a runoff May
16th.
May 16th. And so even though there's only one person, one race, it's still a very important race. I also attended the park entertainment. I want to thank the police and the medical services. You know, I feel very comfortable that it's a safe environment for our kids. You know, if a kid was to get hurt or something like that, there was people there that could tend to them. Parking is definitely an issue, but I think when the new building is finished and there'll be parking, I think that will help quite a bit. Like I said earlier, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, I'm ready to get to work.
Thank you. City Manager?
Thank you. First, congratulations to the mayor and Commissioner Perneau and Commissioner Vandegrift. We have lots of work to do. I'm going to let Kiki go before I finish my report.
Good evening. Questions about the warrant list? Thank you.
Oh, hang on. Kiki.
Do we have one question? Commissioner
The
Parnell.
Omega Sports, was that equipment for the new park, or
Mega Sports.
That's a contract you guys
That's
passed.
the,
contract?
That's in a contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uniform service?
uniforms.
Okay. I knew it had to be something about equipment.
We did it out.
So a runoff election will be held in May, of course, at the Senior Center here. Early voting from May 8th through May 12th, and then the election, the day of election, is May 16th. This Friday, we will celebrate Arbor Day. Ty Ferris has been doing a great job of getting residents out to plant trees. We gave away trees 2 weeks ago, and I think they were all gone probably within an hour. And it tells you that residents are really happy about this. All of the things that we do, giving away trees, and then this Friday is Arbor Day. We're going to celebrate Arbor Day by planting a tree in Sheffield Park, and that's in conjunction with our sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, because that's part of their program initiative too, is to replenish the environment with trees. So we're going to do that on Friday at 10 a.m. in Sheffield Park, and we hope you come out and be a part of that. Pickleball courts are probably about 98% finished right now. Are you ready?
Depends what you define ready. For Mr. Bullock, probably not.
Well, they are looking really good. They've been striped and painted, and probably in the next next 2 weeks, we'll open that up. And we're pretty excited about that. They look really good. Table Talk is Thursday at 5:30. The fire station has finally been completed with the bay doors. They look really good. For those of you who don't know, we ordered those doors last year, and it was just a delay in terms of delivery. As soon as they came in, those doors have been installed, and we're pretty proud of that. And we also want to thank all of the volunteers that came out on Saturday. Commissioner Ward, Ben, and Beautification Committee came out and cleaned up our pocket park. We thought that was pretty cool and looked really good out there. I know you did all of the work, right? No, because there was a lot to be done, right? We also had our leadership strategic planning last week. We are planning for the city because we know we're getting ready to come back together with you guys and make sure that our visions match and that we merge those visions together to get for the next 4 years. We have a strategic plan booklet, but we also want to update a lot of things that we have not updated in that. So we will have a strategic plan meeting with the commissioners as well. There are applications out there for July 4th. Applications for vendors, for participants. Before you know it, July 4th will be here. It takes this long probably to plan something of this event of this nature because it's such a large event. It has grown over the years. Last year was probably one of our largest attendance, and so we're looking forward to that. Also, we are getting ready to launch, and you will see this out everywhere, our Hometown Hero banners. And that website will be finished in just a little bit. We're actually doing it internally. And so you'll hear more about that probably within the next couple of days, where we will recognize active and veterans that have served in all cross military, and we have several places that we will place banners throughout the city of Lynn Haven. We want to get this done before July 4th, so that it can be not only very festive, but we also honor all of our veterans and everyone who has served. So that is my report.
All right. Thank you, City Manager. City Attorney?
Yeah, just real quick, I was glad to see the charter amendments passed, and they all did, so that way we can get our red line together and not have to reformat that. I talked to CJ, we'll get that over to Unicode to get uploaded onto the website, and once that's final, we'll get a final version. We have to file it with the state of Florida, and so we'll take care of that in the next week or so. And that was all I had. Any other questions?
Any other questions for him, for the City Attorney? All right, catch him before he leaves, if you have any additional questions. All right, our consent agenda is our minutes from 4/11/23. Is there a motion or any corrections to those minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Perno. City Manager, if you call the vote.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Aldridge?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandegrift?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes, motion passed. Discussion only in review of Chapter 4 of the International Property Maintenance Code. You should have received an email with some suggestions for us to discuss briefly. And of course, we can, at our next pre-commission meeting, we can go in a little more detail over Chapter 4 if we believe we need to do that as well. And so the Chapter 4 possible changes, we talked about it was recommended section 401.1 to replace the provisions of this chapter shall govern the minimum conditions and standards for light, ventilation, and space for occupying the structure with the provision of this chapter shall apply to residential rentals, commercial, and industrial properties and shall govern the minimum conditions and standards for light, ventilation, and space for occupying a structure. Any questions on that one, on recommendation for 401.1?
No questions, but I just feel like the whole chapter should be more or less worded as go to our existing code. Use the existing Florida code versus the International Building Code.
Okay.
So that's my suggestion anyway. So.
All right. Any other suggestions?
Since we've had complaints about people renting the VRBOs or Airbnbs, or do we need to specifically address that? I know renters are.
Well, the challenge is that we can't. So that's sort of what the fuss has been, and City Attorney, please correct me if I'm wrong. It's sort of, as I read the law, that if you did not already have something on the books prior to 2011, you could not come back and specifically make a law targeting short-term rentals. And so that's a state statute which our hands are tied in. Currently, that state statute is going to be coming from our last commission meeting. It has been amended greatly, yes. And has taken a lot of stuff out for cities, as you probably saw from the Florida League of Cities. And so it's going to be on the House floor coming up. So I would encourage us to follow it with our state rep and other state reps. Like Representative Griffiths isn't the only one that we have to email. We can email all of them. They serve the whole state of Florida. So follow it with state reps to say, this is what we think about this. And then today, it was actually in Fiscal Policy Committee with Senator Trumbull. He's actually on that committee, so I did send an email to him this morning before committee met, just telling him about all the changes that were made and the amendments that were made that really took out the things that we were hoping would be in there to give a little more leverage to cities, so that we could just have a better understanding and communication and compliance with those short-term rentals. And I included copy and pasted some of the comments that we received in emails from our citizens, so he could just see, hey, this isn't just me. This is exactly what our citizens are experiencing with this. And so his staff did note that he received it. They would pass it along to him for him to look at that and share it with his fiscal policy committee. So that's sort of the challenge that we have is we really can't insert anything that really addresses specifically short-term rentals, from my understanding.
Right, we can't target them specific, no, we could have occupancy limits that apply to, residential, commercial rental,
Yes.
Don't single anybody out. You can't say, well, if you're just a residential house, it's this, and if you're going to rent it out, it's something less than that. But we can still have occupancy limits and all these safety codes as long as it's uniform and across the board, and we just don't specifically, have different criteria
What about
depending on the use.
What about a registry?
That's
State statute. As a matter of fact, that's what they're, before they were, and that's part of the amendment.
Yeah, I understand that's the goal of the
right.
legislation.
It's to be determined.
Yep.
Yeah, that's still to be determined. So, matter of fact, now what they're debating is, previously in the first bill, it would be you would register each home that you owned. But now it's if you own several of them, you just have one registration. So you would pay per registration, but now they're saying that you can only just have one registration for maybe several of those. And so they're really taking out the, if you want to say the teeth that the city was going to be able to have in that is what's being taken out in this amended bill that's, like I said, coming up on the House floor. And if it gets past the Fiscal Policy Committee, then it's going to go to the Senate floor probably within the next few weeks. So we can't even add, we talked about that last time, could we add a registration just to know what Airbnbs or VRBOs were in our city, but we can't do that on our own.
That we can contact them when there's an issue.
Yeah.
Well, I wish the legislatures would realize that it's not quite fair to those people that have lived in those neighborhoods
Yeah.
for 20 and 25 years, and now all of a sudden they have this disruption in their little neighborhood. So, okay, well, I'll follow up with that then. Thank you.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm big on a home rule thing, because I just feel like they tie our hands on a lot of things. This is just one of many examples of just allow us to govern our cities, and they're not allowing us to do that. So I hope they make some resolution with that legislation, so.
Any further discussion on Chapter 4? All right, if there's no further discussion, thank you all. Meeting adjourned.